Welcome to the Empower Your Team podcast series with your host, Cloé Caron, founder and president of O2 Coaching. In this podcast series, Cloé and her guests will take you on a journey, sharing their leadership stories, struggles, successes, and learnings. The conversations will highlight practical advice and insights for leaders.
Hello everyone, welcome to my podcast, Empower Your Team. This week, Isabelle and Cloé, head of the Quebec Bureau in Barcelona. So excited to have her. She's been so generous in sharing what made her the free leader that she is today, what kind of work she had to do on herself, and what's the model she's used to help her through that process. Have a listen. I'll find you right after. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to our Empower Your Team podcast. Today, Isabelle Dessureau, our Quebec government delegate in Barcelona, in Spain. Hola, Isabelle, ¿cómo estás? Bienvenida.
Sí, ¿qué tal? Bien.
This is really an amazing opportunity for us to talk about alignment, I would say. And I'll start with a quote because I think that really encapsulate what we want to talk about, which is you've got to pick the environments that work for you. Context is so important. The unfiltered leader who is an amazing success in one situation will be a catastrophic failure in another situation. And that quote will put all the reference, but it's from Eric Barker. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know if I would agree totally regarding the total failure, because I think that, it's not totally black and white, but I definitely agree with the fact that you can be the leader that really fits a certain context, a certain culture, corporate culture or entrepreneurial culture, and that you won't be as powerful and as happy as a leader as well in another context. But you are the same person, you are the same leader, but your style of leadership can be even within the same organization from one time to 5 years after might be the case as well. So interesting interesting topic to talk about.
And all that because the importance of knowing yourself is where we're headed here in this conversation. The importance for a leader to know who they are as a person and as a leader. I'd like to hear you more on that.
I think we've talked a lot in the recent years about EQ. Your emotional, the IQ, but emotional intelligence, and one of the four pillar of EQ is to know yourself, and that the way others are seeing you match. So this is because you might think you are a leader of a certain type, or that you are very effective in specific situation. But if others don't see it like that, then there's a misfit. And in terms of EQ, that might show something as well. So I think that to know yourself, and it's a journey that you can start when you're a kid. If you are lucky enough to have adults around you that help you into that, or otherwise, like me, it was really it was an awakening in my 30s, and I'm still into that. And I think that all the time, this is not like a destination. This is really like a journey to know yourself and to have the humility and the curiosity to go into that process on, and to have the courage to start again into a certain introspection of who you are, what you want, but also the responsibility you had in certain situations, and know your beliefs, know your limits, and it's a wonderful journey. It could be a tough one, but it's a wonderful one.
Some would say it's the only one possible, but in order to really achieve what you call flow and what you call alignment with yourself. How do we know we're in flow and how do we know we're aligned?
The flow for me is like a mental and physical state, really, that you feel that, I don't know if at that moment you can say I'm aligned, but definitely you feel that alignment. But definitely you are somewhere where you don't want it to change anything that, with the people with who you are, what you're doing, what you're experiencing, and that specific moment. And you want this to continue. Not that it will be the same in 2 minutes or in an hour or next day, but that state of mind, to be very confident about what you're bringing into that situation. And it's not the ego that is talking there, is really that your life mission as a leader or in your life is really getting all of its purpose at that specific moment, and that you want that to continue. And that's an amazing feeling. I've experienced it 2 years ago. It's weird to say that because people will say, "Well, you enter the flow and you continue." No, you can lose it because we're stressed. But it's a work to go back into it, and I think it's a daily work in a sense, or a daily commitment.
And you talk about knowing yourself as one of the best tools to actually achieve that flow and that alignment. I understand you've got a specific tool that you've worked with that really helped you define who you are, what's important for you. Would you mind sharing that tool with our auditors?
Yeah, well, I call it, or it is called, I don't know exactly, a loop of maturity, and it starts with introspection. So that your willingness to go inside yourself and try to look for something and be okay to with everything that you will find, because it's not only always very there. It's sometimes it can be dark a bit, but that you're willing to enter this introspection process, and then to have the humility to recognize your limits, your belief, maybe some fears that you have as well, and just like be very humble about the fact that you have all of that, and also analyzing some situation and take responsibility in that situation, and then have the curiosity to look for other journey, other way of evolving in your journey as a leader, to learn, to be maybe more of a learner than for a certain period, and to look around for many other perspectives. So having that curiosity to look around and to learn from others, and finally the courage to act based upon what you've discovered, and maybe to change things in your leadership style, or in your role as a leader, or even of the environment. And then you start again with the introspection. For me, this loop is usually like a 2 years journey or process, and then I'm within again.
And it's called maturity because as you evolve, you gain maturity around what you want, I'm assuming, and how you want to behave, and the values you want to live by. What's one of the values you want to live by, actually, or that you live by? I should say.
That's an interesting exercise, actually, that I've done probably 10 years ago, and every 5 years I'm asking myself if I still have the same values, because we do this exercise in the corporate world, the vision, the mission, the value, and I think that's very interesting that we should do it actually in our own life, And for me, freedom was one of the value that I cherish, and I understand by identifying freedom as a value, the choices I've made, and maybe also a filter through which I will make a decision in the future as well. So interesting to know your values and to um, to check because usually it shouldn't change much over the time.
Yes, they are the anchoring, is what I'm understanding from you. They're the anchoring of who we are, and then we make those decisions based on that. So the courage, the freedom, how did they help you go through probably one of the hardest situation or challenge you've faced as a leader?
We had a chance to chat about it earlier, you and you were asking that question. What was the biggest difficulties or highest challenge I've encountered? I would say to realize that I was not aligned with the values of the organization or the leader or the environment in which I was evolving, and to realize that's why I was maybe not very well into what I was going through. And so this is a difficult situation and acknowledgement as well. So I would say that if you look at it and think that this is not against anybody or against any organization, but you are doing it for yourself, this is like very powerful words, not against anybody, but for you. You do it for a better well-being, a better continuity of your journey as a leader. I think that then you feel less guilty about judgment that you are you might think, oh no, my God, I'm judging, and am I better? No, it's not better or worse. It's just that if it's not aligned with who you are and what you want to still become, you must act.
Another way to say this would be to express your full potential. It doesn't mean that
I really like it. Yeah, I really like the way you
your
say it.
journey to express your full potential, and sometimes you need to move to a different place in order to express that full potential. Um, what's one word that would describe who you are now as a leader?
Mm, can I use two words? Yeah, is it
Absolutely.
working?
The same price.
um, um, I feel confident to say, and humble at the same time. So confident and humble to say that now I see myself and I want to continue to become a better purpose enabler. So that's really my life mission every day. And I feel that professionally, I have an amazing chance to 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 help others realize their purpose, and so like an enabler of doing that. I know that in the past I saw myself more as a change maker, a risk taker, but now I really like that kind of label, the purpose enabler. It doesn't seem very humble, but it's really something that every morning I'm repeating to myself, and at night I'm happy, and I feel happy if I feel that I focused on that objective during my day.
It's very, actually, I would say, very generous in a way to have that vision of yourself, because that's the intention with which you go about your day every day, and you make sure that you enable other people, other organizations to live their purpose. So that's our mission too, in a way, at O2 Coaching, is to help others express their full potential and express their contribution. So thank you for your time, Isabelle. This was very generous of you. I really appreciate it. Hasta luego. Muchas gracias.
And thank you for this amazing opportunity to share. And I would like any time to continue this discussion. It was great, and thank you so much for this podcast series.
Thank you, Isabelle. We'll catch up again. Absolutely. Thank you so much. How great that we have a leader that shares her story on how she works continuously on herself, and we all do. I was a lawyer. I had to really dig deep to think about what I really wanted in my career, what I wanted to contribute in society, to think about what would bring me there. And I became a leader in the pharmaceutical world, and then I became a coach. And so all of that journey of becoming who I wanted to be along the way was supported with different tools. And Isabelle shared her tools. I'm sharing in my book my tools, my 5C model. That is not solely, obviously, on how you build your career, but it's really tools that help you think about what kind of leader you want to be. Because as you know, the first C it all starts with us. It starts with who we are as a leader. If we want to create the conditions for our team, if we want to be a better coach, if we want to create a team dynamic through a contract, and then a culture within our organization, it starts with who we are as a person and who we are as a leader. So hopefully through this podcast, you were tempted to use some of those tools to think about what's the next version of yourself. We're not asking you to become something you're not, but what's the next best version of yourself? And this pandemic has really definitely helped us have those thoughts, probably a bit more at the beginning, as we prepare to go back to a hybrid model. What will that mean? And what does that mean for you as a leader and for your team? So those tools hopefully help you, guide you through this journey that is a never-ending journey. And I'm really excited actually about this, because I'm all about growth. So I'm excited that will never cease. In the meantime, I invite you to be inspired and to inspire.
Thanks for listening to the Empower Your Team podcast. Now it's time to take action. Join the leaders who are already part of the Empower Your Team movement and visit our website at empoweryourteam.com to know more on how to participate.